Mark, can I ask you about your handprints? Because you don't just have spray paint on here, do you? You're using... Is that just putting literally your whole hand in a tin of black paint?
Yeah, just to have a repetitive sort of symbol. I mean, there's no great meaning to it. It's just purely a decorative.
But it's a different... Because isn't it that there's like a convention within graffiti where it's spray tins only?
Spray paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
So this causes a bit of a stir.
Yeah. Yeah, anything that, I mean, well, the whole thing about it was that it's all sort of technique-based thing. You've got to be better than the other guys. It's a sort of competition thing. It started originally, I mean, to be noticed, you had to write your name bigger and better.
So if you introduce something like that, they find it a threat because they feel they might.
I mean, it's got a sort of
they might have to introduce something like that in order to carry on competing.
I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's just always been that sort of street versus, I don't know, the sort of gallery scene. People have got a big problem with that when you get involved with galleries.
And is that quite common now? Graffiti artists are asked to go and spray paint a wall in a gallery.
I mean, yeah, it's been going on since like the mid-70s, so it's been. You know what I mean?
Do they objectify it? Like, do they want you to do it on a board so they can keep it, or they let you do it direct on the wall, so they paint over it afterwards in the
I know a few guys have actually done it straight onto the walls, and I think they would prefer doing that because when
then it fits more.
When you try and do it on canvas, you have to compress it, and basically it's not a medium, it's a medium for a large-scale thing. You couldn't really compress it on a canvas, but it does cause a lot of problems when you start doing it. I mean, the main thing about graffiti is meant to be letters, the letter form, rather than the figure. So that's why it's, this is the other thing besides the painting, which is
no fucking letters.
No fucking letters. Art school blank, which is
because you've only got numbers.
Because I don't have my name in the centre of the wall. That's basically it.
So because you're not respecting the tradition of promoting your own ego by writing your name?
I mean, I think when you first started, it is an ego-based thing, like you're trying to like outdo your pals. Your street name, and you're trying to do it bigger and better. But for some reason, it seems to carry on if you don't do letters, which is fair enough in a sense because letters are the main thing.
Well, they're a communication medium.
Exactly.
But then again, it's still a visual art form, isn't it? More than it is a written. I mean, it's not a piece of paper with black. It's not a poem with typed letters. I mean, it is a visual thing more than
I always think that it doesn't really make sense to me anyway because the writing is so stylised and so camouflaged that people can't read it anyway. So, you know, I mean, apart from people who are
in the know.
Then it becomes quite elitist and just as snobby.
Is it quite
pretentious as art school?
Does it have a hierarchy then in that way?
Which there's nobody in particular. It seems to evolve. Like there's certain things that they do, like say with the letters and it's really hard to describe.
Well, is it the same? Like, is there different styles? Different cities have their own. Because I know you went to South Africa, so like. Do they have a completely different understanding of graffiti there?
Not really, because most of it comes from America originally. It's still influenced by the original American thing.
They have the same sources of influence as people
You tend to take it and sort of personalise it yourself, but usually it's from the same sort of sources, so it's the same reference points, the same influences, the same artists that you're all aware of. So that's probably how this thing develops, like the sort of unwritten rules of it. And if you deviate from that, like in any art, probably like you're sort of.
But that's the only way the art develops.
Of course it is. You know what I mean?
I mean, the idea presumably is for you to become a better artist through your history of making artwork. So you want the one you made 10 years ago not to be as good as the one you're making now. And
you want, like, you want to carry on. You can't carry on painting your name forever. You know what I mean?
Well, presumably you'd stop doing it, wouldn't you? Because you'd get bored with it.
You've got to try something different. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, then it's fair enough.
Oh yeah, but that's how you learn. If you try something, it doesn't work, you still learn that it didn't work. I suppose, isn't it?
I don't think this is a fantastic paint or anything, but it's nice to try something slightly different.
It is, yeah.
And if it doesn't, I mean, this gets painted over anyway. The turnover in these places is so quick anyway. I mean, there'll be another painting over here really quickly. So
How quick? You mean if you'll come here in a week and there'll be something else?
maybe not quite. It's maybe like a couple of weeks. It depends who's painting and how regularly they're painting. But there's a lot of younger people who are getting involved in it. They're doing quite a lot of stuff. Whereas we're getting a little bit older and got other responsibilities and that. I know you are imposing your work on people, but at the same time, it's not really a consideration. You just do it. You look for a suitable place to paint, and that's quite a selfish thing because you really aren't considering the people who either own the property that you're painting on, or if it's like in New York or London or whatever, when you're painting on trains. Again, it's not your property and you're painting on it, which is fine when you're a lot younger because you basically don't care. But as you get a bit older and a bit more responsible, I mean, when you're younger as well, if you get caught, you're okay. If you get caught now painting illegally, you're in a lot of trouble.
Right.
Obviously, you're going to get, like that guy Twister from Sheffield, he got 5 years for painting.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
That
So it's a big,
crazy,
you know what I mean? And like I've got a couple of kids now, and I basically can't afford to put in jail for painting on walls. You know what I mean? But at the same time, again, when you're a lot younger,
you start it for the sake of being a rebel. It's all
I
about
suppose it is like that. It was a very
finding out about your individuality as a teenager. I would have thought.
It was a very cool street level thing to do at the time, but it does take on sort of progress from that. But a lot of the attitudes and ideas are still in place with people who are now like the guys I used to paint with are like 25, 27 and that now, and it's still the same attitudes like this that you used to get when we were kids. But again, I can understand where it comes from, given that it's all involved in hip hop culture, where everything is based on you don't really have anything, but you're bragging and boasting and acting as if you do. That's where the titles like the King comes from, like in
being Flash comes
basically,
from.
yeah.
It's basically
it's a reaction to having nothing like.
It's aspirational in a way or not? I mean, these people would want.
Yeah,
I
think a lot of it's just fictional as well. I mean,
the Flash clothing comes from aspiring to be really wealthy.
Yeah, it's all basically about style. I mean, usually it's about your actual lettering style with graffiti, and when it's with rapping, then it's your sort of rhyme style, your delivery, and breakdancing, it's obviously your dance style and that. So that's where the sort of rivalry and bitterness comes from. Like it's still
because there's a competition.
Yeah, it's a constant competition. It's usually about style, the style of your work. But then when you exclude letters from your graffiti work, that's when it's frowned upon, because the letters are the main part of graffiti. And if you don't include them within your paintings, then it's not considered graffiti. But then, like,
it's just considered painting on walls.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite happy to do that. I'm quite happy just to paint for the sake of painting.
Walls,
but when I first started, like, I used to think, I'm a graffiti artist.
There's a hierarchy of the wording then. If you call yourself graffiti, it's okay.
Exactly. Which I wouldn't do. It's a bit of a dirty word as well. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a general word now. I think it means so many things.
Yeah.
But it's lost its meaning because you're not quite sure what it means anymore.
I'm well aware that it's illegal, but at the same time it's not a consideration. I'm not thinking like that's really cool, we're rebels. I mean, when we first started painting and you were painting illegally and you were really young, you used to shit yourself, like, you know what I mean? You get taken home to your mum and dad, like, getting caught for painting and that. It's definitely not a cool thing. But a lot of the attitudes in that are still from then. More interested now in sort of pattern
and shapes rather than just letters and characters.